والنجم إذا هوى ما ضل صاحبكم وما غوى.
Now, إن يتبعون إلا الظن. They follow nothing but assumptions. This is Allah's comment now. They follow nothing at all but assumptions. The problem with this is the ayah did not begin with the word they. The ayah began with the word you. He said, you have named these names. You and your fathers. Allah did not send any authority with them. And then he says, they follow nothing but assumptions. What were we expecting Allah to say here? In tattabi'una illa dhann. You are following nothing but assumptions, because the conversation was with you. So we switched from you to what? They. All the kids that are in this hall that have at least a 3rd grade, 4th grade education, I and we is first person. You is what? Second person. And he, she, they is third person. So we went from second person to third person. Second person means you're talking to someone. Third person means they're not here. You know, if I was talking to you and I said, I need you to understand, I need you to understand, and then I turn over here and say, they don't understand. You know what that means? You guys aren't worth my time anymore. I am so done talking to you. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking about you. Some of you have more than one child. You're Muslim, probably many hands are going to go up. More than one child? Okay, all right, very good. Yeah, you're Muslim, definitely. Okay, so sometimes your kids, especially your daughters, they have a fight with each other in the back of the car. They're like, Dad, Baba, can you tell someone to roll up their window? And the other one says, Dad, tell someone that I need the air. Oh yeah? Well, someone didn't roll up the window last time and I had to roll it down. Blah, 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 blah. Someone. You're like, oh my God, just talk to each other. Why are they not talking to each other? Why are they someoneing each other? They're mad at each other. When you go from you to they, you know what that is an expression of? It's an abandonment. These people are not even worth talking to. You believe in ideas that are not worth believing in. You follow an ancestry that is not worthy of anything. In other words, you're not even worthy of being addressed anymore. You just need to be ignored. So the question then is, if he's not talking to them, then who is he talking to? He's talking to the Prophet ﷺ. He's talking to the believers. He's turning to them and saying, by the way, you should know about these people. In yattabi'una illa dhann. So 2 audiences in one ayah. 2 audiences inside one ayah. The audience of mushrikun in the beginning, and now the audience of the believers and Rasulullah ﷺ. In yattabi'una illa dhann. They follow nothing but assumption. I want you to understand there are 2 things here that are going to be talked about. I'll translate both so you can see the contrast. They follow nothing but assumption and whatever their selves fall in love with. They follow assumptions and whatever they love. Okay? So assumptions and love. Now I want you to understand why 2 things are being mentioned. Assumptions are an intellectual thing. I assumed there won't be any traffic. I assumed the weather is going to be good. I assumed this is about thought. Assumptions are about thought. But love is not about thought. Love is about what? Feelings, emotions. Love is about emotions. One part of the criticism is about their thoughts. And the other part of the criticism is about their emotions. And the second one, you can also consider the atf bayan. It's as if it's saying these thoughts are actually coming from these emotions. The emotions are dictating the thoughts. How many people here in any research field? If you're in a research field, you will find professors, intellectuals that are more concerned about their prestige than about the research. They will stop research from happening because it hurts their feelings if their thesis is proven wrong. It will hurt their agenda if the funding will stop because the research will go in a different direction. These are people of amazing thought, but those thoughts are being surrendered by what? Feelings, greed, ego, these kinds of things are stopping thought from happening. There are literally, subjects that you can be banned from studying or researching because makes somebody nervous. In other words, yes, human beings pride themselves on being intellectual creatures, but actually so much of what we do is driven by what? Our emotions. Well, not that, whatever you love, whatever they love. Now, we are in a time where there's an explosion of ideas like never before. The mushrikun had it easy. They had just a few number of idols. We have an infinite number of idols on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. There's an explosion of ideas. There's an explosion of philosophies. There are new developments in how justice should be defined, how gender should be defined, how right and wrong should be defined, how family should be defined, how freedom should be defined, how reality should be defined. Everything is being questioned by everyone. And all these ideas are colliding with each other. Used to be shirk number one was in this continent and shirk number two was in that continent. Now it's all, this is a shirk fest. All ideas are colliding with each other. There's all kinds of dhann. But you know where all that dhann comes from? وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسِ. It's rooted in desires. It's rooted in what people love. When what you love is dictating your thought process, that's when you're going to come up with false ideas. It's a very powerful philosophical truth that Allah has given us. People will develop ideas that are actually convenient for them. They'll develop philosophies convenient for them. And nowadays, you might say in the American landscape, you have far left and far right, conservative and liberal, right? You can have those kinds of, and you might say, oh, Muslims are more like the conservatives. No, we're actually not. Oh, well, more like the liberals. No, we're actually not, because each of them, their ideas are reacting to each other based on what each of them wants. The pursuit is not truth. The pursuit is still wants. Behind each of them is an agenda still. وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسِ. And we did hawa before. Remember, hawa is to fall down? And hawa is a kind of love for lowly things, right? These aren't some high philosophical love of truth, love of justice. No, it's love of self. It's just love of self. وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسِ. This is actually the ultimate God. The ultimate God isn't idols. It's what the self wants. The idols are just a projection of what the self wants. That's all they are. I was telling you, Hindus, for example, they have a god called Lakshmi, the god of wealth. It's the god of wealth. Why is there a god of wealth? Who wants wealth? You do. That's why you have a god of wealth, right? And you do what you do to get rich. So you better have a Lakshmi. You don't have health insurance or car insurance, have Lakshmi. You departmentalize gods. You departmentalize worship because it's based on your wants. And you developed all of this and you created all of these mythologies. And, this is something that Sheikh Suhaib said today. I promised him, I'll tell you guys. Like Ashabul Fil? Now we have Ashabul Feelings. It was so good. I had to say it. It's in my look, Ashabul Feelings. Right there. And you know what these feelings also do? Is something I call selective outrage. You know what that means? Muslims. Well, forget talking about Hindus and Christians. Let's talk about ourselves, man. The dabur is for me. It's for you. Somebody insulted the Prophet ﷺ. Oh, that's it. I gotta burn a car. I gotta break at least one store. We gotta do something. Somebody said something that might be insulting to Rasulullah ﷺ. Okay. But women are not being given their share in inheritance, and children are starving, and corruption is rampant, and people are killing each other in the name of religion, and all kinds of corruption that Islam came to destroy. And daughters are still considered a liability, and forced marriages are happening, which is the same as burying your daughter alive. All of that's happening. But somebody insulted the Prophet. All of that is not an insult to the Prophet. All of that's not an insult to the Quran. So, we have a lot of outrage, but it's very selective. Why? Because this outrage is convenient. It's ma tahwa al-anfus. The other one, that's too close to home. That's too close to. I know literally imams in the Western world that can be fired if they give a khutbah about the prohibition of selling alcohol. If they say don't earn haram money, they can lose their job. Why? Because the kind donation that came to the masjid came from the owner of, an establishment that, mashallah, tabarakallah, right? So and what is that? This is actually, the God is not the God you're worshiping and you're facing the qibla and making salah 5 times a day. The actual God is the store that's making you money. وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسِ. That's your actual God. And in worship of that God, you're willing to silence the God that revealed the Quran. وَمَا تَهْوَى الْأَنفُسِ. It's easy to read these ayat and say, oh, those kuffar back in the day, they were so hawa obsessed. Alhamdulillah, Allah gave us Islam. Yeah, He did. The tragedy is we have it and we're doing this.